We'll make some audiograms of this. Live stream up. So easy.
It's great when it works simple like it's supposed to.
Yes. Give me 1 second, Tammy.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine, dear. You do what you need to do.
Thank you, love. Hi, everyone. Hi, and we are talking about marketing this week. How's it going? Happy Thursday. If you're on my side of the US, to our friends in the UK, you're already in the nighttime, friends in Australia and beyond. It's tomorrow. So let's hello to everyone. I'm here with Tammy Johnson, and Tammy Johnson is the business owner of KSA Business. And I'm going to let her introduce herself in a second, just where she's located, how long she's been working in marketing. And what I wanted to do, just to set up the conversation, is give us some focus and attention for the next couple of weeks, if not 30 days almost. Yeah, probably a whole month actually, just on best marketing practices for our health service provider businesses and consultation businesses that don't necessarily or completely rely on social media, because many of you have been telling me in recent weeks and months in a lot of our events and one-to-one conversations that you're really wary about social media and you're not using it. There's reasons why you're not using it consistently. And so we're going to just shift gears, even though social media is really great. And yes, we're streaming this on social media, right? So I know that could feel like, well, why is she social media streaming? Well, because I don't feel the same way as you about social media, but it doesn't mean that you have to do social media too. It doesn't mean you have to do the live streams as well. Social media is great. I'll talk about it all day long. I can, because it's really helped me with ecosystem reach, and also an ad spend. I mean, my cost per lead has dramatically decreased, not to mention ways to pre-frame conversations before sales. Social media is game, but doesn't mean you have to do it. In fact, there was social things that people did before social media to grow their businesses. And so that's a good segue to you, Tammy, who you've been doing this for quite some time. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring experts, people we met in our communities and our trusted communities out there, our trusted networks that we participate in and pay for, to bring you people who are doing this and have been doing it for a very long time. Tammy, take it away. Where are you from and how long have you been doing the marketing business?
So I'm in British Columbia, Canada, so on the West Coast here. And I have been running my own business for over 24 years and working with people for marketing for close to 30, actually.
That's incredible. And I mean, you remember a time before social media, and I mean, like this was what people did. And, um, are you noticing that there's a trend or a return or a cycle to some of those tactics now?
Well, a lot of the tactics never went away and they never will go away. Social media isn't a replacement, it's an addition to, especially when you're working with health people, because that's a very, very personal thing and very hands on, and a lot of the time very local. So, yes, social media is a part of it, but it is definitely not the only way. And it is not a required way. Like, I am a fan of it and getting more and more into it myself. But there are so many offline options that you have for marketing your business.
Well, let's talk about a few of those. What are some of your favorite visibility options that you've encountered, because I know that you've served a lot of clients who are in the health and service,
Mhm.
the health service or the consultative space, what are some of the best visibility options that are available for them?
Well, the best is the stuff that what works for you. What are you comfortable doing? Because if you're pushing yourself to do something that you absolutely hate, it's not going to be effective because you're going to be putting that out. But ones that I have seen work for many people and things that I've done myself. So how I actually started doing my business was small community trade shows. I would pick a few areas that I wanted to be because they typically have like your small business trade shows or your craft shows or whatever, like a few times a year. And as long as the cost was like $75 or less, I would show up and have a table. And if lots of people came through, great. If next to nobody came through, great, because then I would talk to the other vendors in the show. But people would get to see you over and over again because a lot of people have this very false belief that I just have to have the right message and then people are just going to flock to me the first time they see me. No, people need to get to know you. People need to build up that trust and people have to be in the right space where they're now ready for you. Like my personal record from having somebody meet me to actually becoming a client is 14 years. And I've had everything in between. But when you show up and you start being around, networking is another one. Like find a good few networking groups. Like you don't want to be going to like one every single day. Like, but I would say typically find yourself two or three networking groups where you feel comfortable, your type of potential clients and stuff are going to be there, or at least good referral partners, and become involved. So people get to know what you do, know how you do it, build up that trust, build up that relationship. I've had a lot of my business built through networking, and some, okay, I've only had to go a while, and then, okay, it's the right one. They start sending me lots of people. And then there's been groups where I've had to be very active in it for like 3, 4 years. And now it's starting to come in. I'm a really
That's
big fan of
so
teaching.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so great. I mean, I just want to unpack a little bit what you said because you said two really beautiful golden nuggets. One,
Mhm.
compatibility.
Mhm.
Compatibility with your marketing. It's got to feel comfortable or just like a little bit uncomfortable, but not really uncomfortable. Like it's okay to like stretch your wings. Like if you've tried a couple new things and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna see how this feels for a while. Please do that. But like you cannot and should not be forcing yourself in situations that are gonna feel uncomfortable. People can feel that energy and it's not gonna work for you for your transference and for your ability to sell. And then you mentioned, gosh, you said so much in the last couple of minutes that were so good. Leveraging connections at markets. It's not just the people who are coming, because generally it can be cold traffic, people who don't know you. It's leveraging the people who are sitting next to you,
Mhm.
who you're talking to, who's watching your table when you go to the bathroom or go get a snack.
Mhm.
It's people who come over because they're tired of sitting at their table, and so they're coming around to your table to see how you're doing and ask who you are and how to get to know you better. The people who you buy ticket to sell at the table at the event
Mhm.
hosts. So I love that you mentioned leveraging those connections and you said such emphasis that it's not just the people who are coming in to see the events. Anyway, go on. Yes.
Like I said, there's so many different things. Other things that I've done. Um, Big on teaching. So community college, adult education events, lunch and learns. Those were ones that were absolutely huge for me. If you are good at writing, that is another one. Community newsletters are usually looking for content. And if you can provide good articles, like go through and take a look and see, okay, how big are their articles? What are the different ones? And you can offer up a few ones. And typically, if you're not paying for the advertising, they will give you a little bit of grief going, we'll only let you have a byline and stuff. But you can put enough stuff into your article where people will go looking for you and you're setting yourself up as the expert. So that is a fabulous way of doing it. Another one that I've done and had a lot of clients be successful with is helpareporter.com. Have you ever heard of that?
Probably, but not in my recently. That's why I love conversations like these because it brings certain things that are older to new fresh. So
Mhm.
go on and tell us what that is.
So helpareporter.com is a free site that you sign up for, and you get the general email, and then you can sign up for your specialties and stuff. So like I go in for business and finance, but I know that they have like health and fitness, and they have like one for like parents and kids and science and biotech. Like they have different ones. And then what they do is they send out 3 emails a day, a normal business day, one in the morning, one in the early afternoon, one in the late afternoon. And this is places that podcasts that are looking for guests, or people that are looking for experts to quote in their newspaper, or they're looking for somebody to be on their television show or their radio show,
Yes.
or being
Yes.
quoted in their magazine articles and different things like that. So you can go through and go, okay, if this is something that you are good at, this is your area of expertise,
Hmm.
you can answer their question or put your name forward. And when I have been active on that, like I've had some that, okay, like I'll respond to like 6 a day. And like the very first article that I was quoted in, it was for Long Island Bride, and they contacted me and did a whole interview, and I am a quoted expert. That was the first one that I was in, but I've booked television appearances, web webinar, like all sorts of stuff by going through. So as long as you have the ability to be articulate and interesting, and now I've built up a lot of relationships where those sources will just contact me directly when they need things. So
Yes. Yes, that's perfect. I think that you're right on the money that PR visibility does not rely on you going out and doing any of that social media grid content. It's one where you're generating thought leadership articles, thought leadership content, and you're submitting it to already existing subsidiaries,
mhm.
avenues for your content to be delivered. They need content. So you're delivering it directly to them. You're solving their problem and they're giving you audience. That's a great win-win, reciprocal way to work and build your market. Awesome. So we talked about visibility options. What would you say is like your favorite strategy for a local business to build connection and rapport?
You want to narrow that? Okay, that's a very, very large question, dear. You want to narrow it down a teeny bit more?
So the great thing about social media in my mind, a lot, I already mentioned a couple things in the beginning, was that sense of connection, how you can build connection directly through social media. So what would the alternative to that be in a local work or local business type of environment or marketing strategy?
Okay, so one of the things that I have had quite a few of my clients that are very locally tied businesses is setting out time on a regular, preferably weekly basis for a couple of hours, and literally going to other businesses in their area and door knocking. Like it takes a little bit of a stretch to get over that hurdle, but
Mhm.
I have found that to be probably the number one business driver. And it's not for everybody, but I've had an awful lot of people do it, and I have started doing business with people that have gone and do that. Like one of my first doctors, like this is a while ago, but she had literally just finished. She'd set up her practice, and she literally went door knocking to all the businesses in the two towers that were surrounding her. And that's how I started being her patient, because she's going, okay, I need to, like, I've started off, I've got this space, now I need to start bringing in patients. So she went and started introducing herself as the new doctor in town. I have a client, she runs a doggy daycare business and grooming and stuff like that. And whenever she goes out and she does the door knocking with the business, just going in and introducing herself and starting talking about it, her business goes up and up and up. And I've had so many like healthcare professionals, like if you've got a downtime and it's during business hours and you're in a business area at all, take a couple hours and just go and introduce yourself. Most people are very nice, but they don't even know you exist. A lot of people make the mistake, if they, especially if they have a physical space, all I need to do is put out a sign and everybody will know and start coming. People don't even see the signs. Like, do you know how many marketing messages we are exposed to on a normal working day in an urban center? 1.6 million. Because just think about all the vehicles you're driving by that have signage on them, all the signs that you're seeing, the noise on the radio, the interruptions you get on your phone, you go onto the internet at all, you're being bombarded by messages absolutely everywhere. You turn on any TV show that isn't like based in like ancient times and you're seeing all like the product placement. That's all marketing. Our brain has to tune all of that stuff out. So they're not even seeing your sign. But when you're coming in and you're being polite and friendly and you're introducing yourself, guess what? They're paying attention. And it's a good way to
Absolutely.
get to know you. And like I said,
That's a
anytime I've had a
great.
client do that, their business blows up. What
Yep.
and phoning people, like
Yep.
picking up your phone. This is the most heavy thing in the world, but picking it up and actually dialing, not texting, but dialing and making a phone call. Like I've had clients that, okay, they've been in business for a while and they've got a good, but they've been so terrified about going and making a phone call. And I've had, okay, well, give you a perfect example. So I have a client, she does family photos. And she says, like, I've got a huge list, and like there's people that haven't had photos done with me for years, and we know how quickly kids grow up and things change and stuff like that. And I'm going, well, why don't you phone up your clients? We made a challenge. I said, I need you to get 5 no's in one day. I don't care how many yeses you get, but you have to get 5 no's. People say, no, sorry, not interested, no thank you. So she committed, and the next day she came in and she was like over the moon. She said, I was up until midnight because it took me 27 calls to get my 5 no's. And I have 20 clients booked. She says, I cannot believe that I was in my own way because all she had to do was phone and ask. But it took her, like you said, it took her 27 calls because she had 2 people that weren't home. So she just left messages. And then she ended up booking like 20 clients before she could get her 5 no's that she had committed to get with me.
Yeah, you've hit the diamond, you've hit the geode, it's open. This is absolutely the truth. The key to being not on social media is to do the exact opposite. It is to return to the fundamental roots of connection. In a society that's become so disconnected and so oversold to, the key is that rapport. Hello, how are you? My name is, this is my business, this is what I do. What do you do? How can we maybe help each other? What do you have going on in your business? I love that. It's key. I think you're absolutely right, that relationship. And you are definitely aware of that concept of like the ecosystem. And that's what really social media has become, especially as a content creator, where you are expected to have an audience on every single platform. And what I'm noticing, like with my own company, is that like I have a really large audience on Instagram, I have a really small but steadily growing audience on YouTube, a really healthy, growing audience on Facebook. And I think overall, isn't the ideal now that you want to have those metrics all kind of even across the platforms? You want to have really large audiences on all the platforms. And it's just an interesting time that we're in, right? With that whole type of ecosystem based, staying top of mind marketing. What are your thoughts on it?
Audience and customers are not necessarily the same thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just talking about
Mm.
audience. What are
So
your thoughts on that type of creator ecosystem approach, which we seem to be so much in? That's why AI is coming in so heavily because AI will fill the gaps in a lot of these situations to build perceived value and authority. But that doesn't mean much of anything, like you say.
yeah. So I'm a big fan of building up your audience across different ones, but also if like you said, you're looking at you want to own as much of that as possible because on the social media platforms, you own nothing. Like you are the product. So Facebook is great for reaching out to people. That's how you and I met. That's how I've met many people. Or Instagram or YouTube, or I know people that are big on TikTok. And
Well, to be fair, Tammy, we met through a Facebook network
yep.
that we both invest energy and potentially
Mhm.
financial into. Like I pay for it.
Yep.
So to be fair, we've met through a kind of a curated type of networking group. Kind of like
Hmm.
if we went out in the world into a local city and we found a networking group that was within our niche or
Hmm.
within a target audience we wanted to be in front of, we figured, hey, they're full of doctors. I want to work with doctors. I should be there. Like that makes sense. So finding mutually beneficial audiences. But I think with social media, it just gets more streamlined. We expect there's a certain rapport with that too. Like I send you a connection call request, you send me one. It's easily put into our calendars. We easily meet. We easily do a live stream. It's a few minutes that we've been able to build that kind of connection with each other. Um, but doesn't mean it can't happen in person too, right?
Well, one of the beautiful things about the internet and social media and stuff is meeting in person is a lot more limited. Like you and I are in different cities, different countries. So the chances of us meeting in person are greatly reduced, where we have no problem whatsoever meeting through social media with like minded. So, like I said, very, very good things. But one of the things I always stress to people, no matter what your business is, look at your social media as the place to be meeting people, but then you need to be gathering the contact information and building the relationship offline because you have no control over the social media. And I know of people personally that have had very large accounts through Facebook or Instagram or the different ones, and technical glitches have wiped them out.
Yes.
They lost their account, they lost everything, and then they had nothing whatsoever offline. So use the social media for building and meeting, and also yes, do it across platforms, because yeah, if you have a problem with Facebook because like literally technical glitches, or all of a sudden Mark Zuckerberg doesn't think you have masculine enough energy and you get wiped out, well, you still have YouTube or TikTok or Blue Sky or wherever else that you are, so that you do have some protection and insulation from problems beyond your control.
Yeah, so just to like package this all up in a beautiful red bow, I think that key going forward is having a strategy that's definitely a balanced way, if not a little bit leaning more into the in-person organic strategies, especially if you're a service-based business, you're busy. I mean,
Mhm.
the practitioners I talk to, they don't have all this endless time to be producing content and putting content out. I don't really see them as content creators. So they're really needing to be buffering up their referral based systems, their networking, and there are other visibility options that Tammy mentioned in this quite beautifully. These are excellent strategies, talking to getting on the good side of reporters and other publication possibilities. That's a great way to build into your schedule some time to create content, but utilize it so it hits audiences very clearly because they're consumers of those publications trust that publication. So right away, you have a much better chance of getting a customer from that just because of that. I've always learned that, certain events are better because you got an invite into the event or you
Mhm.
had a prior relationship or you were leveraged within the event. So there's ways to do that as well, which Tammy mentioned. And then, the strategy that she mentioned too, like really carving out time each week to make sure you're making phone calls and going door to door, connecting with people. That is key. Even if you're doing it online too, it's not just about what you're projecting out into the world and being in your physical space. It's about getting out there strategically and building relationships. So
Mhm.
that it's been an awesome conversation. How else can people follow up with you, Tammy? What are you currently working on? How can we like currently strategically support you?
Well, I am always looking to help people learn how to properly build a business that survives the first 2 years and goes on to thrive in an honest, ethical, and moral way. You can always find me at my website, ksabusiness.ca, or you can find me on Instagram, which is my main platform right now, at ksa.business.
Your branding definitely screams like superhero, like bold pink. women-owned business. I love it. I think it's so powerful and definitely like gives that idea of ethics and integrity. So really good job with that. And I do see that in
Thank
your
you.
branding. So that is super important. You want someone who's hand in hand with you and can like listen to you and be like, yeah, let's do this together. And like you said with your client, like a great exercise is getting no's and then you see what's possible. So a great person will help you be able to do that, really be in the weeds and help you with that implementation. Thank you, Tammy. I look forward to another chat with you soon. And thanks for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me, Laura.